Yes, and Mr. Hardman and Mrs. Hardman. It's very good to have each one of you here. And let's see. Be sure if you haven't signed the book over there, to make sure you do that. I know some of you just didn't, so make sure before you leave you sign that book. We want to who's not. Okay. Ladies are ready for us to start instructions. George Rudd. Did you ask the question?
We actually have a class about my point. That's scholarship program. We might carry it on down. We might go forth and do things. We have to say plus food. Now this is our way. We have to do the pressure plus the we actually have the fathers especially do with the young people who are more like
Now, if you that don't want coffee or tea or soft drinks, it is cooler in the floor. Just help yourself. We all remember junior practice banjo in school, and we appreciate you bringing it. And are you ready to play the song? What? Oh, let's see. Oh, wow. He brought a CD for bunch of it. So be sure and pick it up. So there's also on top. Let me tell you this. There's an album that each class has. So be sure and pick up an album. I guess no. And an address for each class.
Got some kind of book side there.
And we're ready to listen to Junior.
He talks so
Go ahead.
This is not supper yet, it's after supper.
He gone up here, he gone in and run, gone up here, he have some fun.
Give him a good sign.
Okay, my hearing if I can see to read this. Okay, I'm doing the memorial reading for tonight. As you see, we have a display down there, the ones that passed since our last reunion. And I just have a little information to go along with that. The name of this is The Broken Chain, 1957 to 2007. Helen Keller once wrote, "Nothing that is loved is ever lost. No one who has touched a life or who has brought beauty to the world is ever truly gone." Today we pause to memorialize 3 of our dear Normantown High School classmates and 2 of our high school teachers who have left us since our last reunion. We honor the memory of Brooks Moyers, Howard Conrad, and our dear friend and classmate Florence White Reeves. We also remember our teachers, Margie Jack and Eileen Wolf. Brooks was a pleasant, well-mannered guy who always had a smile on his face. He was usually seen about school in his FFA jacket. Following graduation, Brooks realized his dream of becoming a successful farmer. He enjoyed his family, wife Linda, daughter Kelly, and grandson Marshall, whom he later adopted as his own son. I often saw Brooks at the Little League field, helping coach his son's team and loving every minute of it. Howard was a member of our Normantown High School class during our freshman and sophomore years. Howard was small in stature, but was so handsome with his dark hair and eyes. Howard was usually seen hanging around with Brooks and the other future farmers. He later married Lady Rose, and together they had a beautiful family of which he was very proud. Florence was my very best friend in high school. I spent many nights at Florence's home. Her mother would take us to the ball games and make us popcorn and orange Kool-Aid. After graduation, Florence met the love of her life, Chuck Ridge, and moved to California. She would write me occasionally and tell me all about her beautiful Christian family. Florence worked so hard to prepare our memory book that we received at our 45th reunion, but she loved every minute of it. Margie Jack Snyder was a beautiful biology and physical education teacher. She always had a beautiful smile. I remember dissecting the earthworm and fish in her biology class. Miss Jack had her work cut out in phys ed when she tried to keep Norma and Rosemary in line. Okay, Eileen Wolf was her home economics teacher. She taught us ladies to cook and sew and transformed us into the beautiful, talented wives and mothers we are today. Ms. Wolf was the hot lunch room monitor and kept everything in order while we ate lunch. Near a shady wall arose once grew, budded and blossomed in God's free light, watered and fed by morning dew, shedding its sweetness day and night. Shall flame of death cause us to grieve and make our courage faint and fall? Nay, let us faith and hope receive. The rose still grows beyond the wall. What we have once enjoyed, we can never lose. All we love deeply becomes a part of us. Florence, Brooks, Howard, Margie, and Eileen, you left us beautiful memories. Your love is still our guide, and though we cannot see you, you are always at our side. Our class chain of 57 is broken, and nothing seems the same, but as God has us one by one, the chain will link again.
Stand out and introduce your guests and give us a report of what you've been doing. I think we're going to start there, but first, I want to tell you, I talked to Jack Ridge. I don't know why he didn't come, but he said to tell you he'll be here at our 55th.
stage fright.
It's not on. It's not on. It's not on.
Fix it, Ansel. Fix it.
It's just not speaking.
Huh? Is there volume?
No, it's not working. He doesn't need to make it closer. It's not on.
It's not on.
They must have turned it off.
Good fix that. Is the light on? He's coming and talking to him, I think.
Okay. I'm not used to these mics, but maybe you can hear me a little better. So, as I said, I'm going to, my friend Sandra Hefner Bell, we dated in high school, and I wanted to tell a little tale here today about my sister, my classmate, the ladies, the ill fate that never happened, we might say. The last day of school, 50 years ago, we just had a couple of 3 hours, and I come out of the house to go catch the bus, and there our old family tomcat from down to the yard. And he was carrying in his mouth a great big, rail fence lizard, and we always called them hellhounds. They were gray. And I said, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." And he come on down. He was caught it to play with. It wasn't hard, so I took it and put it in the shirt pocket. And along about down at the where Jerry Norman lived, I was sitting with Sandra with my arm around her, and she screamed in my ear, and I still can't hear good out of it. But I looked around, and there sat that old lizard up on my shoulder. Now, his destiny was to be turned loose in the classroom with my graduating class, the ladies, but he never made it that far. Preacher Connor had me throw it out the window. When I went to get back on the bus, he said, "Now, I talked it over with Mr. Moore, and you're not to ride the bus home this evening." Last day of school, and I got kicked off the bus. So you can see what would have happened if I had turned that loose in the room with you girls. Well, over the years, the Lord has blessed me tremendously. At our 45th class reunion, I said that my goal was to make a trip out west. Well, I've got to make 2. Last year, I went out and organized a church at the little town of Augusta, Montana, and hopefully, Lord willing, I'll be going back about the 15th of July to ordain the pastor out there. So, God has blessed me down through the years, and it's just great to be here, be able to physically. After I had colon cancer and overcome that, He's healed me. I just say God does all of it, and I'm all of it.
can see and remember a lot of things, but I'm a little mixed up with this class or that class over there. So I'm not sure how much I should tell because I might be telling on the wrong person. Most of you know that I left over in Normantown a year after you guys did. I was there 7 years. I had no intention of being a school teacher. In fact, I intended to go back to Ohio and work in a factory. Bush Collins kept on me and bugged me every time I stepped in his store to take a, he was a member of the Board of Education, to take a job up as a school teacher. So I finally decided that I'd try 1 year. My greatest ambition was to be a math teacher. But they didn't have any math jobs, and I had to teach physics and chemistry. Now, I never did consider myself as a teacher. I always considered myself as someone trying to help you guys learn a little bit about those subjects they assigned me to try to get over to you. One night I got a call and they said they wanted me to go to Troy and be principal. So I went over there. I thought I could be a principal pretty well because when I was in high school, I was in the principal's office about as much as I was anywhere else. So I didn't see very much of a job for that. So I was over there 8 years. And then they asked me to become superintendent of school. And I did that for another 8 years. And then I went back over to Normantown High School to serve out the time when I could retire. I retired in 1980, which was about 27 years ago. I spent about 18 winters in Florida playing golf. I wasn't a very good golfer, but I enjoyed talking to the guys that playing with. So I did that. So it's sure glad to come back and see you guys. I sometimes can't remember some of your names. I remember one or two I put the board to, but I'm not going to tell you which one it was. But I'm sure you couldn't do that today. So thank you very much.
Teacher and a preacher. I'm Edsel Louise, for those that are like me that don't remember who in the heck that person is sitting over there. And but my wife Linda sitting there beside of me. And of course I was married before and had one son. And I've got a granddaughter, a grandson, and a step-granddaughter on that side. And on Linda's side, I've got, from her daughter, we've got 2 grandboys there. And we just dearly love all of them and enjoy them as much as we can. Her family lives in Greensboro, North Carolina. Mine lives in Columbus, Ohio. So you couldn't get much further apart than that. You know, put a lot of miles of that precious liquid gold we got out there. But we enjoy them all. I retired from Glenville State College, 33 years in the maintenance department, and had 8 years in the Air Force. Before that, spent 22 years in the Army Reserve, so every little bit helps. And I just really look forward to being here with everybody and chewing the fat with you. You know, by the way, I did accomplish one more thing that I wanted to accomplish since the 45th year that we're together. I had my technician's license for amateur radio. I did finally pass the 5-word per minute code till I could upgrade to general class. And after I did that, then it did away with the code requirement. But that's my hobby. I enjoy doing that. Good to see you.
I can tell a lot of tales on Jerry, but I'm not a little good. I've been telling on myself too. But Jerry and Marvin and Randy Fowler, I'm familiar or not. I all went to Navy and buddy system. And they tried to break us up. We wouldn't go along with that. And when we got out of boot camp, it all got separated. And I've been one of the best things we did. You couldn't get work around here at that time. I tell a lot of tales of these girls over here too, and I don't do that. But I left here in the Navy and I got a job in Virginia Beach, and I've been there ever since, and I'll probably be there when I die. But my heart will always be here in Gilbert County. And Mamie, thank you for coming. Junior, I'm glad you played that banjo. I didn't want to hear that recording. Everything you did wrong, you should have started out in the 80s and still the doctor. John, I'm glad you came. It's good to see you again. And I thank Mr. Harvin there. I've never done it before, but I was having trouble with Alfred one time. I don't know if my daddy had him come, my father. He came to my house and got me straight. And I thank you. It's good to see everybody here. Run and the beer joint, Normantown Hill, at 7 o'clock on Thursday night played Lester Flat and Earl Scruggs. Junior would walk from where he lived there to Normantown Hill, watch Lester Flat and Earl Scruggs and come back home. And I'd bell him and he'd grab me and just squeeze me like you can't believe. And he threw a super knuckleball, if you first can remember. But I went back to Parkersburg and married Patty. We known each other since 1950. I would have loved to finish up here, but it just couldn't be. Dad went back to work at Viscos. I worked for DuPont for 35 years and raised, Patty and I raised 3 boys, and 2 of them are preachers and the other one does preaching. And got 4 grandchildren. And I retired 13 years ago, and I've been very blessed. So I want to thank you.
Got stayed down there, but anyway, I put in 45 years at Ford since I left here, and I've been married 48, 3 children, 8 grandchildren, and we spend about half of our time, see it in the high end, the other half of it on the strip of the Rosedale Road. And I'm not ready to come down here and just settle here permanent. But we had a highlight just recently. Our youngest son teaches school in Tennessee, and he's involved with Science Olympiad. Last week he was in Kansas. They went national this year with Science Olympiad. Sorry to say, there is no teams of that Science Olympiad in West Virginia. But he took a team to state for the last 6 years, 7 years, I guess. But this year national, they come in out of 60 teams. They came in 33, which we was very proud of for the first year. And we've got beautiful children. My wife Kate is over here in the other, she's with her class. Just glad to be here. Enjoy y'all. This trip.
Well, the ones that don't know me, my name is Rexy Rogers. They know me by Rex. My next is Rexy. They said, where do you get that name? I said, well, my mother gave it to me. Well, since I graduated from, left the group, I went to Florida, and I went in the Air Force. Actually, I didn't go in the Air Force. The Army drafted me, and my wife put me in the Air Force. That's my wife, Frances, over here. We've been married 48 years, so very blessed to have her. Traveling the Air Force was very educational. You learned a lot, you traveled a lot, and you got to do a lot. I'm not good at speaking, so just bear with me. So I'll get through this one way or another. But I've been 23 years in the Air Force. Really liked it. We didn't really want to retire from it. My wife didn't anyway, but I was tired of it. We wanted to stay in Germany, but a beautiful country. But we came back and she said, "You're not through yet, you gotta get another job." So I spent another 20 years driving truck. Around Clearwater, St. Pete, Fort Myers, Florida. And I got to know that state pretty well. So almost as well as I knew West Virginia. But I miss West Virginia. Being back home, it's almost heaven. So it's great to be here, to meet all of my friends, classmates. I get a lot of email from you. I really enjoy it. And there's a lot of them I don't send out because there's things I just don't want to send on the email. And you know how that goes. But it's good to see everybody, and I'm glad you all could make it, and I'm glad I could make it my wife too. Thank you very much. I didn't want to leave them out. One's in Arizona, one's in Air Force. We spent 23 years right now in 23. If I don't get all this right, just ask my wife. She knows all of that. So. The 23 years, and then he's getting ready to retire himself. And my daughter is married to an Air Force in Phoenix, Arizona. She's up at Surprise, Arizona, just out of Phoenix. Surprise. And what a surprise it is. I spent one night there and saw one, and then 2 days I was there. Because the lighting out there, you can see all the towns lit up, but daytime you could see nothing but mountains. If anybody's been out there in Arizona. But thank you all. God bless you all. And may God be with you.
Cheers. I can't say a lot about myself because I don't want to get into problems there, but me and Jerry and Randy used to run them girls over in Bearfort pretty hard when we were younger, didn't we, Jerry? You remember that? I ain't going to get into that. I'll tell you. I'm Junior Hunter, and everybody knows me, I hope. This is my wife, Sandra, for 48 years. Yeah. I read on the marriage certificate on the fine print down there, it said 99 years of life. I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. But anyway, I got 2 girls and 2 grandkids. And I had my own building company, McCumbers Builders, that I've run for 38 years. And I just closed it up last year and retired. And that's about all I've got to say, I guess. But I'm sure glad I could come down and see everybody. It's really nice to visit and see you. Now, 50 years is a long time. But anyway, I'd like to thank everybody for coming. The more we're going to see everybody. So I'll talk to you later.
The entrance is Rex good, so I'm going to try. My voice is kind of weak, so I hope you can hear me. Marvin Wilson, I go by Blair now, but when I was in high school, all you rascals knew me as Marvin. After leaving high school, I went into the Army Reserves for 6 months active duty. Orville Miller and I wound up in Colorado, sleeping under the stars, waking up with 6 inches of snow on our sleeping bags. was an experience. I came back, Randall and Jerry and I went to the high seas for the 4-year stint in the Navy. I got extended 6 months because of the Berlin Wall. Did you guys get that? I got out in 4 years and 4 months. Came out, went to the big town of Burnsville and was a town cop. That was my first real job after high school. After that, I went to D.C. and was a trailways bus driver. I went to land research, made rocket propellants. Some of the motors that we made were actually installed on some of the space vessels. Worked for 5 years, different jobs. Got bored. I think I had 7 jobs in 5 years. Went back in the Navy, got into intelligence school. Was sent to the Philippines, Fleet Intelligence Center, Pacific during the Vietnam War. Was put into a position where I could call in airstrikes, classified positions. Went to the Naval Intelligence Support Center in Suitland, Maryland. I did something there that I couldn't even tell people about. And now everybody knows we have the spy satellites. Actually, I was one of the analysts that read the imagery from them. And while I was there, I identified a new weapon system that the Russians had. Published a paper, went to CIA, DIA, all the intelligence community outlets. Spent 20 years in the Navy, retired in July of '82, went to TRW security, was a project security manager for TRW. Very high level project. Probably if it was compromised, we may have, probably would have been a Third World War. It was that high a position. I burned out after about 2 years doing that. Very high stress. Then I went, let's see, that was TRW, and then I went to, actually retired. I've held, well, I've been retired 3 times. The last time was last week. This time is for good. Recently, I just retired from Wise Guys Contracting, and in essence, I was the contracts and special projects manager, and I've hung it up for good this time. I'm not going to pick on Junior, and I can't say if I ain't got any kids. I got married, I was 44, I'm a late bloomer. I've got a son that's going to be 21 in August, and my daughter will be 22 in August. So, no grandkids, thank God. That's it.
I'm Marilyn Sullivan, Cameron now. I left you in 1950. I don't know, maybe some of you remember, probably not. My oldest sisters were living in Ohio. My oldest sister married the reporter from London, and he flew down to Glendale for a birthday gift to his plane, and crashed and died in London. So my sister had 2 small children, and that's when we moved. So my mother and dad could help her out and take care of the kids, and so we ended up with Grafton area. And when you were graduating from high school, I was having my first baby. And my son is 50 years old now, just turned 50. So my first husband died, and I have been married now for 42 years, second time, and we have 4 children, and I have 2 stepchildren, and a whole bunch of grandchildren. Bill is going to be 27. youngest one is 5. I'm recovering from stage 4 lymphoma cancer for the 2nd time. That's why I have no hair hardly. So I used to question why did I survive? And I don't question it anymore. I just feel, well, I've got something to do in my life that I haven't done yet, and so God's given me more time, I do it. And I'm really, really happy to be here with all of you. Some of you I remember, and some of you I don't remember so well. And but I'm really glad you invited me, and I'll be there tomorrow at the alumni here in Normantown, and it brought back a lot of memories the first time I came down here. My first cousin is the principal of the school over there at Normantown, and last year when we were here, he opened the classroom upstairs, and I got to see our first grade classroom. I was so excited about that, and I remembered it as being a large room, and when I went up there, it is a large room, and there's a lot of memories there, so I'm glad to be here, and thank you.
5 children, 4 grandchildren, and a husband that thought he was Batman and flew off the roof without told himself. This was my best friend in school. This was my boyfriend in school. That's about it.
I'm Norma Yardley, and I don't want to go up there. I graduated from Humboldt State College in '61 and went to Wood County, Parkersburg, Williamstown, and taught for 10 years, and I knew every trick and trade in the book. And I loved every minute of my teaching. I taught 2 years of physical education at Williamstown High School, and then 8 years of home economics at Washington Junior High. Then during that time, I met a wonderful person and was married, and we had 2 children, a daughter and a son. My son is in Tampa, Florida. My daughter is in Arcata, California, which is Northern California. They take care of themselves, but I don't have any grandchildren, and they are not married. They're wonderful kids, and then I lost my wonderful husband. And I didn't think I would be home, but I'm glad I did. And so, it's good to see you. Thank you.
And I married Gary from Copeland, West Virginia, April the 21st, 1957. And he passed away a little over 8 years ago. We have 4 children, 3 girls and a boy. I have 9 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. And I'm still way up there either because I belong to the Turtle Club. I walk so slow. But my name is Pat Baber. Spencer now. I have 4 children, a boy and a girl. I have 9 grandchildren and 1 great-grandchild. I worked at the steel mill for 24 years and finally I retired. They said I was too old to do it. Now, and I'm very glad I got to come and see everybody this year. I haven't been here for a long time. It's nice seeing everybody.
Yes, I'll start with where Marvin did. Got out of high school, I spent 6 months in the Marvin Reserves. Then I got out of that, went into the Air Force. He went into the Navy and I went to the Air Force. Spent the same 4 years and 4 months in the Air Force. I got out of college for a year. I didn't like that. I worked for Ford Motor Company for a while. Then come back to Normantown, West Virginia. Been there for 42 years now. 30 of them drive school bus. Retired 5 years ago. I didn't stay retired long. Children, 3 grandchildren. Going to drive around the country.
And I left school and went to Akron, Ohio, and I've been there tool company for 40 years and I'm retired from there. Wiley Jack. I've been married to Billy Jack for 48 years. I met my husband at Normantown High School when he was there with the FFA in competition. And I think he was in a string band or something competition. And he played banjo. It's like Junior, and he knows Junior's family. And they're all musicians. Okay, and we've been married for 8 years. We have 4 daughters ranging from 44, 45, 46, 47. The first 4 years we were married, we had 4 girls. And I have 6 grandchildren ranging from 11 years old to 27 years old. We're expecting our first great-grandchild next month. It's a little girl. I worked for West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources for 33 years. I retired 6 years ago as a licensed social worker. I'm still a licensed social worker, but I just do temporary work when they call. Nothing full-time. So I live in the South, not too far away, and once in a while I see some of the local classmates, but I'm glad to see everybody, and I hope we get together again soon. And I miss Florence a lot. She was my best friend in high school.
Well, I'm Carol Kinley Gaynor. I'm married to Dick Gaynor over there, who's doing the videoing. We were just married 50 years this month. And I retired from the Harrison County School System after 30 years as a secretary on all 3 grade levels, elementary, junior high, and high school. And my favorite is the high school. We have 2 grown daughters. We will never have any grandchildren because both of our daughters had medical problems and had to have hysterectomies. But I'm grandma to thousands of kids that graduated from Lincoln High School. And I want each one of you, I make albums with pictures that were sent to me, updated this year, so each class member is to pick up one of those albums over there. That's yours to keep. Now these others are just to look at, but the others are to keep, and Bella did a directory that you're to pick up over there too.
Here, I'm pretty sure all of you can hear me. As Norma said, I probably know every trick in the book. It doesn't take you long, does it, Norma? I taught 5th grade for 30 years and 7th and 8th grade math and science for 8 years. Jim and I live in Beckley. We have 2 children. Our son is in Statesville, North Carolina. He has 2 children, 2 boys. His oldest one just turned 16. And I have him, our grandmother, who runs 5K, 3K races, and he just won a 5K race in Charlotte this past weekend in his age group, and we were really proud of him. Our daughter is in Beverly. She also teaches, which is the 5th generation teacher in our family, and probably the last. She has 2 children, a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old. We have one granddaughter. She is jumping high jump for Woodrow Wilson High School. She's a varsity cheerleader as a 9th grader. She won 2 AAA high jumps this spring, but didn't make it down the regionals. She got tripped up at 14, but we were really proud of her. And Jim plays golf. I quilt, I read, and I do genealogy. That's our life.
We're in the doghouse here today because we were so loud. I want to thank Nadine, Carol, and Lois for all the help that they were. They did most of this, and I want to thank them very much for all the work they've done. And Junior, thank you for bringing the banjo and playing. And we want you to have another song. In fact, let me go ahead with these things and then you can.
Oh, they won't care for that. They may come over and listen.
They'll enjoy it.
Yes, yes. We did talk, we decided that instead of planning a big dinner like this, we would like to have some kind of an informal get-together in 2 years, and we'll let you know when and where. If anyone has anything different that they would prefer, you can let us know. And then I wanted to remind you about breakfast in the morning at Common Place at 10 o'clock. After we get through, we're not through yet, but after we get through, we'd like for the class members to meet in the middle here so we can have a picture of the class members. Okay, Trina.
There's a little song.
Get a centerpiece. One more centerpiece. Charles Schaefer. You get this. Pass that down to Charles Schaefer down there on the edge. Well, this one is our worker, Rosemary McCown, you get a centerpiece. 4 centerpieces, what?
Would you want a little bit of salt on it? I'd like to give you special.
Blair Wilson.
He's over on the other side over there.
Okay, well, this is his.